Hey guys, Nast Kane, how you doing? How's your day going? My wife and I, by that I mean my wife mostly, did like a potato hash day with chicken sausage. Polishing that off before I started to stream. How's everyone doing today? Just hanging out with Hoary Boulder over here. What's up, dude? Yeah, I'm pretty tired, but not in a I want to, you know, crash and burn kind of way, which is nice. Oh, how's your day going, Kane? Oh, you did a stream? Oh no, I didn't see it as I was at work. Oh, I would have liked to have seen that, but I'll see if I can catch the VOD on your channel. How'd it go, though? Did you have fun? Forgive me, that was an unseemly display. Ah, but before your very eyes, my lady, none here would have behaved any differently. We have borne the two of them to a private chamber. Tell me, is it true that Master Thancred languishes in a lax state in Alamigo? I'm afraid so. Though given the circumstances, it would seem best to observe them together. We'll send word to Lise that he should be brought here. Hey, what if Lise is also unconscious? Oh, I do just notice that he has a six-pack built into his armor. Is that compensation? Lord, man. Yo, Kane, thanks for the resubscription, man. Welcome back in to the toolbox.
Hit the spot.
It's only 25 minutes because my nerves.
My sub.
Managed to rip your sub? Yep. Thank you. I appreciate that. Someone showed up and I tried to talk a little bit. I mean, it's going to be tough the first couple times. I mean, for me, I didn't have anyone show up to my first stream, so I kind of got used to talking at a void. Helped a bit. We will, Hori. That we will. But first things first, our comrades will have questions. May I ask you to explain the situation to them? Must attend to a private matter. Oh, I promised I'd visit someone in Limsa Laminsa. He has been waiting at Maelstrom Command for a while now. You know, you should come along too. I think he'd be glad to see you. Is it the guy with the eye patch? He's usually skulking around Limsa. Mainly been working or doing a bit of streaming editing. Nice! Leveling black. Ooh, you're leveling black mage. Alright. Big boom, make fire, big DPS. Oh, really? Taking black mage into Shadowbringers. Alright. Have you been enjoying it so far? I know red mage scratches the same edge black mage does for me, but it's a little bit more smooth. Smooth like butter. I was looking for where to mount up. Like, oh yeah, I can just do that, right? Oh. It's in the app castle. Ethernet. Because red mage is just so much fun, you know? What's up, honey?
Remember you asked me to break?
I think it should be in, like, the red shelf in there, right? Oh, I don't know. As you've probably guessed, it's Gabu we've come to see. The private here will bring him out to us. Ever since the Maelstrom took him in, I try to visit as often as I can. And after we befell our friends, I was taken by the urge to visit again. It's difficult to explain. Gabu. Oh, Gabu. Sorry for your dead parents again.
Gabu, it's been too long.
I'm afraid there's been no change. If he can see or hear us, he has given no sign.
Badge.
I see. You're still fighting. I'm proud of you.
Oh. That's so sweet.
We promised that we would come and visit you together, didn't we? Alphino and I. I'm sorry that we haven't managed that yet.
This is your first time visiting? Oh, that's cruel. The first time you visit is because you're feeling sad? Come on, girl.
You know, with the three of us like this, does it not remind you of that night? Of the stars beyond count twinkling in the heavens?
Oh, we're gonna stream some more tomorrow. Do you know, like, what time you're planning on doing it? I'll see if I can remember to catch it at work, like, during a break or something.
I was feeling pretty low back then. Powerless. But I knew that my brother was close by if I needed him, and that the others would be waiting for me back at the Rising Stones.
Time to learn some independence, girlfriend. God, this game is so beautiful. That, like, the violin in the background.
I've seen my share of trouble since coming to Eorzea. Been reminded again and again of my limitations, of how little I can change about this world. And I
feel like we've changed a good bit about this world, honestly. I mean, we did liberate 2 nations and save the world on many different occasions. I mean, we did some pretty good stuff. Monkey. Hey, Flashy, how you doing?
The people I hold dear struck down before my eyes, and be powerless to help them. That I cannot bear.
That I cannot Berenstein bears. Alright. This is for the chat. Do you remember it as Berenstein bears or Berenstain bears? Because there's this whole theory that there's a split timeline between the Berenstein and the Berenstain bears. Goes around 4 p.m. I'll be driving home at that point. I'll see if I can catch it depending on how long you stream. Can't sleep? Oh no. Oh. Wait, is it gonna be another night where you stay up all night playing League of Legends because you can't sleep? I actually just edited the stream a while ago where you did that. Stayed up till like 4 a.m. playing League of Legends. You don't have to... Yeah, you still have me. I'm still here. Pay attention to me. You don't have to bear this burden alone.
No, I don't. You're right. It's pure arrogance to imagine I can solve everything by myself. You'd think I'd have learned that by now.
Especially with Alphino being such a good example for teaching you about arrogance. I'll eventually stop dunking on him. I probably won't eventually stop dunking on him, but I can promise that I'll be nicer about it.
Enough brooding for one day. Come on. We have friends to save.
Hell yeah, girlfriend. Are you gonna talk? Oh, okay, no. But it did show reaction, which is more than it was doing before. Well, try to go longer than I did today, but my nerves may get me again. It just takes practice. Just don't let it make you give up, you know? Because eventually the nerves will start to ease a bit. You had 6 hours of League today? Oh my god, Flashy! Did you at least have a positive win rate? Oh my god. I don't think I've ever played League of Legends for 6 hours in my life. You get about 4 hours in, and, well, your whole day's ruined. Let's return to the Rising Stones and take it from there. Thanks again for agreeing to come. It meant a lot to me. Dolphin! Oh my god! Had a great start to your day. Woke up and your 32-inch monitor's non-functional. Oh. Oh, Dolphin. I'm sorry, dude. Do you have any replacement monitors, or was that your only one? We don't talk about that? Yeah, we don't talk about the emotional toll that League of Legends takes on you. or win rates. Or KD ratio. I did some thinking on the way back. I think Jorge is right. We need to seek outside help. Ordinarily, we would turn to our own experts in such matters. But they're both among the stricken. I will begin by reaching out to the myriad guilds and research institutions here in Eorzea. Additionally, Grandfather and Minfilia had a wealth of connections between them. I mean to explore those avenues too. Find a way to save everyone. Mark my words. Much more has happened in recent days. Some of it for the good, some not so. But all around me, people continue their fight. For the shinobi who search for Alphino to the Alliance members who make ready to move against the Empire, they march on in the face of great adversity, bearing heavy burdens. Everyone is playing their part. So much I. You have your own part to play, I know, and it's bigger than most. So I won't keep you. Promise that you'll visit me from time to time. I promise I'll have good tidings to share with you when you do. Oh, cutscene. Meanwhile, in the Imperial Palace. You're not demoted? That's good. Hey, it's the bird hat dude. I haven't bothered to remember your name because you're just kind of like a character.
The Populares no longer present an obstacle. Now is the time to bring the Empire's might to bear.
It should say, like, Xenos with quotation marks around it. You order a new one, getting here by Saturday, costs you $250. I actually, you know what? To be fair, $250 is not that bad for 32-inch. I will say. But still, $250. Like plus 13, minus 15. But as soon as I lose this, Jesus. League of Legends system for ranking up sucks. But I guess you've not demoted, so that is good. New season for Destiny has dropped and they have ruined your favorite build. Dolphin! Your day is so bad, my dude! Love. Lots of love. Oh.
A word from your radiance is all it takes. But one word, and the Imperial army will fall upon Alamigo as a pack of bloodthirsty wolves and tear that feeble nation apart.
I will say, if the Ascian is like inhabiting his body and acting as Xenos, he's doing a good job. That's a line that Xenos would have said. Used to be a healing and damaging sun god, but now is a shell of his former self. I'm sorry, Xenos. It's hard for me to say words because my mouth is so weird.
Despite the lengths I go to, an emissary playing the part of a fool. When first I took this face, I swore to use all of my knowledge, all of my power, to further the cause of the Empire. My deeds stand testament to my commitment.
Oh. It's the white-robed Ascian. Interesting.
And with this adamant flesh at my disposal, I could destroy the Icon Slayer as easily as one might swat a fly. Why do you hesitate?
I mean, you are inhabiting his dead son's corpse. Come on, man.
Our enemy is resourceful. Though victory is certain now, it will not remain so indefinitely. Deliberate if you must, but be quick about it. We'll speak again when you have unburdened yourself of doubt. Until then, I take my leave. Father.
Dude, that's cruel. The man's son is dead and you're calling him father.
Could be worse. Could be daddy.
I don't know if you just heard my wife, but she said it could be worse. He could be calling him daddy. I'm disgusted.
I should be the one to sigh.
Hello? She's got a point. She does have a point. That's the problem.
I played my part to perfection. I had earned my rest, and then, thanks to La Habrea's crowning act of idiocy, our favorite emissary sees fit to summon me back. Elidibus was ever a warrior. A most tiresome trait, would you not agree?
He looks like a vampire. Dude, guy's got cheekbones, not for days, for like months.
For me either? No matter. I've long grown weary of this mummery. Now, my
Mummery?
dearest
Maybe he's not a
grandson,
vampire. Maybe he's a mummy.
Remind you of your place in the simplest of terms.
What? Wait, what? Who is this dude? What? The Emperor is his grandson? Okay. Is the boy? Is your boy? Who is this dude? Why is everyone so happy? And Killa, by the way, welcome to the stream. How's your day? Xenos is great grandpappy. Doesn't look like a grandpappy.
You do not make judgments, you administer them. Swiftly and to the letter. Naught else is your concern. Elidibus may be an insufferable bore, but he is no fool. His choices as emissary seldom err.
So, I'm gonna spitball a theory. Maybe he's also an Ascian? Grandfather went dead and bye-bye, and then Ascian took body as well? I don't know. I have not tried it for at all, Nest. Flashy, yeah, totally. Enjoy lurking. It's one of your boys. He is pretty theatrical, I do agree. Definitely a theater kid. Plus that outfit, though. Sheesh. It's on fleek. On God. Do I sound like a zoomer yet?
If aught threatens the balance twixt light and dark, it falls to you to remove it.
I'm a very bright light.
Be it by your own hands or by your armies, you have ample means at your disposal. That is why this empire exists, why I built it. Oh dear, have I touched a nerve?
This
You
guy's
always were an
textures on
easy
his
one to
face
read.
are like, they're like 1080p. While
I pity
what's his face? His face is like
As they
720.
say,
Like look,
ignorance
they're
is
so
bliss.
weird looking comparatively.
And I know how much happier you would be not knowing the things you know.
I want to know the things he knows.
The founding father was an Ascian.
Oh,
And
okay, yeah.
he created the Empire solely for the purpose of sowing the seeds of chaos.
Damn. This guy's got like final boss energy. Right.
Don't take it personally. I merely do my duty. To bring about a calamity requires no small amount of power. And there is no surer way to obtain such power than by collecting powerful pawns. To that end, I have labored long and hard, and I must say I am quite pleased with my handiwork, paltry though it seems in comparison to Allag.
I mean, to be fair, Allag is kind of crazy. Want that coat? I do want that coat. I want the coat IRL. Coat's so nice. Can you get his coat as Glam King? Was killing him just like catharsis because he'll just take a new body?
Fiends are overfond of your own voices.
Dang. True. Ascians do like to talk a lot.
Mark me, Ascian. Man is the master of his own destiny.
Maybe I should start calling him Daddy.
Such a waste of time and energy. Both yours and mine.
That was just on the mark. I said he's an Ascian, and he was. This poor dude. Grandpappy an Ascian, son an Ascian.
Lest you forget you are Emperor now. If you wish to spout drivel about man's destiny, save it for the masses. It will serve to give them a sense of purpose, and you pliant pieces for the game. Oh, do stop sulking, boy. You, of all people, should understand. Ours is a struggle to restore both mankind and the world to their rightful state. Viewed thus, our goals are one and the same.
Dramatic. Oh, he's angry. Meanwhile, at the Resistance encampment somewhere in the Empire. I know it's about to get a freaking movie. Oh my god. It's Alfie now. And definitely not Gaius von Belsar. We don't know who he is yet. What in the world? I feel like this should have been voice acted. This reminds me of like a scene in Kingdom Hearts that was in Final Mix, but not in the original. So it just flashes to a scene and they're like, with text at the bottom. Oh, okay. Oh, they're all dead. Their eyes are blank. Oh no. Dead. All dead. Yet I see no wounds, no evidence of a battle. You forgot to renew your sub? No! After listening to his English voice, I had to say that this is the only instance where the German dub is better. Ooh. I'll have to check it out. He just keeps shooting, he was coming back. Yeah. Like, idiot, I'm immortal, stop shooting me. This is getting you literally nowhere. They all got scared to death. How does Shadowhunter sound? The best character in the game? Ooh. Hell yeah. Damn them. They finally used it. The Empire developed an alchemical weapon in Kiribania. Gas. Black Rose, it was called. Breathe it in just to breathe your last. Yeah, I did a side quest line on that. I think I found like the person who originated it. That did this. I thought the project abandoned, its vile fruit destroyed, but naught else could have wrought such an atrocity. I know, I'm so stoked, Dolphin. Shadowbringers is so close to me. Fools. What hope do they what do they hope to gain with this butchery? Can they not see that a rule won through terror will not endure? How many more provinces must they lose? It's like techno-y music. Oh, like it should have had like a drop right there. It's just not the work of men, monsters, Asians. It cannot be a coincidence that their trail led us here. Their objective was never to rule. Strife, discord. Cloud strife?
Smash Brothers?
I wish they could hear you, honey. I said, Cloud Strife? And she goes, from Super Smash Brothers? What a dork. What an absolute dork. The crime does indeed bear the mark of the Brigands of Chaos. Black Rose cannot be allowed to kill again. Must find the Astians and put the end to their plot. Cool. We're fighting freaking biochemical weapons now. Ridiculous. Glad you've come. I'm afraid this is in the way of good news.
After you left, we reached out to both the Alchemists Guild and Stillglade Fane and attempted all manner of treatments.
Clicked off tab to do something on the stream elements, and, well, she was actually talking.
But the results were always the same. Whatever the answer is, it's not alchemy or conjuring.
It's God.
Why did it have to be Y'shtola and Urianger and not me? Out of all of us, they are the ones who could feasibly have solved this puzzle.
True. You and I are kind of like feet on the ground, subterfuge, fighting missions, killing guys. They're more the thinkers. 7 MSQ? And then it's like, what, a dungeon and a trial?
And Elfino's still missing. God, it's all going wrong. Where do we even start?
That's better.
A grave situation indeed. Might I be of some assistance?
Who are you? Cryo!
Cryle! I did not think you well enough to travel.
When word reached me of the plight of our friends, I could not well stay away.
Fair.
As a fellow scion,
Especially because... Did you hear the voice?
Mentor, this is one of those times you should feel free to call on me, regardless of my personal circumstances.
Because she is a scion, so she must have heard the voice, right? Only one more dungeon?
Yes, I should have thought of that.
We're so close.
Thank you for coming, Cryle. We would welcome your insight.
Sorry, I fixed this one over here. Really, first MSQ, shout out. Ooh, wow. Depending on how long I can go. I'm still recovered and feeling sleepy.
To provide it. Now, what's this I hear about Alphino heading into Imperial territory? That boy always did have some funny ideas. Do you remember the speech he gave when he was accepted to the studio?
Please roast him. Please roast him.
My life's goal is naught less than the salvation of this star.
That does sound like Alfie.
That particular grand pronouncement has been a source of great embarrassment to him, as you know. But the fact of the matter is, he meant every word and has lived his life accordingly.
Yes, he
been
remains
somewhat
altruistic
successful.
to a fault. But I'm worried he was too fixated on his goals to see the dangers, as has happened before.
We need like a child leash for
So
Alfie now.
concerned. Though his values remain the same, Alphino is not the blinkered boy he once was. Slowly but surely his eyes have been opened. Thanks to a certain someone.
Oh, shucks. Thanks, Cryle.
A certain someone whom he'd be mortified to learn had heard about his little speech. Mum's the word, eh?
No. I'm gonna roast them with y'all.
Right, I'd better have a look at our patients. They're in the infirmary, I assume. I'll need absolute quiet, so it would be best if I did this alone.
God, I love Cryle. She's so great. She's so great. Then she waddled away, waddle, waddle, till the very next day. Bum, 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 bum. It's been too long. Where's Cryle? Oh, she's collapsed too.
All three are in fine physical health. At a glance, I would say they were merely sound asleep.
You love Duncan Alfie time? Duncan Alfie time is the best time. I love her because a lot of things. She's very, very sassy, which I enjoy. she's probably, how to phrase it. My wife is also very short and very sassy. So I see Kryl and I think, oh, reminds me of my wife in some respects.
Except for the fact that I couldn't sense the slightest trace of them in their bodies. It's as if their souls have taken leave of their physical forms.
Oh, we already knew that.
Ah, yes. The Elder Seedseer made a similar observation.
The Elder Seedseer made a similar
I've
observation.
read the report. When you heard this mysterious voice, you described feeling as if you were somewhere else, yes?
Yeah, it was crazy.
If we
Everything was
assume the
wibbly and
ether
wobbly.
which comprises your essence is being drawn to some other place, then it may be possible to follow the trail it leaves behind, just as we did in our search for Thancred.
I wasn't around for that.
Right.
But I can't imagine it was easy.
I mean, we kind of just went from quest marker to quest marker.
Try. I will have need of Master Matoya's crystal eye if I'm even to make the attempt. So I suggest we pay her a visit.
Yay! Gonna go visit the Baba Yaga. Do-do-do, do-do-do, do-do-do. Let me see if the comment came up. No, it didn't come up on the video yet. Maybe try to repost it? Oh no, it's gone? They must have flagged it as spam. No, Dolphin! Oh, your day just keeps getting worse. That poor dude. Oh. I'm sorry. The very next day, bum, 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 bum. You marked every this is Thancred? Oh. Wow. You know what? I still feel the love from it. So, regardless of whether or not I get to see it, spending an hour doing that on my video, that's beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. Yep. I thought 26 was a good number. 26 is also my favorite number. Oh, I forgot how there's no freaking Aether right here. Ugh. You also spent time marking it, Nest? Did both of you comment on it and they didn't get... really? I've seen people do that where they do, like, timestamps. I don't know why it's being filtered. That's really annoying, guys. I'm sorry. YouTube is dumb. You also put a... This is so weird. Nest, if you go to the video and your comment is still there, I would do a copy and paste and save it, because it's not... Both of them didn't show up in the video at all. They only showed up on your guys' ends. I think YouTube was filtering them as spam, which is really irritating because that's a lot of work you guys put into that. You put more work into finding the timestamps than I did into making the video, which that's just amazing. The world wasn't ready for This Is Thancred. I expected that video to get like 3 views, and it's like at 600 right now. Like it's the best video I've had in the past like 4 or 5 weeks. That's an over-exaggeration. Probably like 2 weeks. Matoya, can you help us? We're dumb and we don't know how to do things. I heard Master Matoya was something of a recluse, but this seems extreme. Still, I'll happily overlook her eccentricities if she agrees to help us. Looks like she just says no this time. Ah. You don't get to have the magic MacGuffin this time. I thought that musical note was like a doorbell sound for a second.
Come to disturb my peace again, have you? I hide myself away in a cave, and still you people insist on pestering me with your problems.
Sorry.
Oh, I mistook you for young what's-his-name, but I see now you're the sister.
Young what's-his-name?
To be the lively one. I've seen happier faces at a rain-sodden burial.
Matoya, read the room, girl! Oh my god.
Well, I'm sorry to dash your expectations, but the situation isn't exactly conducive to gaiety.
Ha! That's more like it. Stoller used to spit and hiss like a wildcat too. Better for a young thing like you to be filled with fire and leave the doom and gloom to your elders.
Oh, I wish I was full of fire. Got 7 MSQ left in 1 dungeon. I thought there was a trial as well. Must be misremembering.
Now, what exactly does this tragic situation of yours have to do with me?
Just let us, like, take the magical MacGuffins.
may,
It will
Master
stop bothering
Matoya,
you.
We have need of your crystal eye once more.
Give us the magical thing. We want the magical thing. Solo do not trial. Oh, I see.
Stoller is one of the afflicted, is she?
Ooh. That voice actress's delivery. Oh, wow. That was awesome. I don't know. This might just be me, like, being a dork about voice acting, but oh my god. Just from that one sentence and the tremor in her voice, you could hear the fact that she's trying to be reserved and be like, you stole is one of them. Oh, I love that.
Very well. She may be an ungrateful stray, but she's my ungrateful stray, and I'll not see her buried before I am.
Oh. Oh, it's so cute. And also kind of racist. Girl, stray cat, come on. We need more cat girl and cat boy representation. I was actually thinking about getting, like, clip-on cat ears for my headphones, but that costs money.
Right. Let us see what we can see.
Matoya's VA is it is amazing, Kane. One of the best solo duties in the game. You guys, you're always hyping me up for this stuff.
I'll begin from where our friends first fell, and cast my senses out from there.
Magic light hands. Oh, that's a sad face.
What is it? Did you find them?
Ooh.
This doesn't make sense. How is it even possible?
They were pulled to a different star.
How is what possible? Kryl, what did you see?
The threads, they just ended. And no, I didn't lose track of them. I followed them as far as they went. It's as if they were cut off.
Jesus.
Could the ether have dissipated? If it had, oh gods! Their bodies are just husks. It's like the brood mother's daughter all over again.
No, this is different. The Kalyana girl was already dead, body and soul, when Lakshmi effected her resurrection.
Aye, let's not jump to conclusions. If their physical forms yet breathe and show no signs of wasting, then it follows that their souls must still be intact somewhere.
Put them in a refrigerator. Keep them fresh. Sad Lalafell noises? I know, right? Hi, Simple. How you doing, dude? How's your day going? How are you doing? I haven't seen you as much. No, I haven't seen you enough, is what I'm trying to say. I miss you whenever you're gone. Love when old people deal with sadness and anger. The thing that just makes them sad is pure resentment. Yeah. But dear Lalafell, I see. Maybe we could work in money. I now have a sleep apnea machine. Nice. Yes. How have you been doing with it? This is actually something we can relate on, because I also have a sleep apnea machine, and it took some time to get used to it. Definitely. Although I love it now. Going to sleep without it just feels weird. It's nice having the flow of fresh air.
But where? That's the question, isn't it, girl? Death has not taken them to the ethereal sea, yet there are no tracks left for us to follow.
Brain blast?
We're no closer to an answer than when we started. But knowing their souls are still out there is progress of a sort. We just have to keep looking.
You know what's wild is that they're literally confirming the existence of souls right now. I don't know if that's just a little bit crazy to anyone else, but they're like, yeah, souls exist. Just nice and simple. Just souls are a thing. All right. Having some weird stuff happen over my computer. Want to make sure we don't crash on over here.
Pray, excuse me a moment. Yes? I remember, but... What, to Alamigo? We're on our way. That was Lee's. Apparently, a group of Populares have defected to Alamigo, and Maxima, the envoy Alphino left with, is one of them. I'm sorry.
I thought for sure they're going to say, the entirety of Alamigo has been blown up.
Go, child, go! You've made up your mind, and life's too short for dithering.
Matoya is so great.
I'll do some digging
What a
in the
good
meantime
character.
and see if there isn't some other method we could
She also
use to
looks like
continue
no other
the
character
search.
in the game.
Let's be off then.
Oh, not again. The enchantment barely seems to take these days.
Oh, the Aether being sucked out, like Aether being pulled back.
Simple.
Before they took ill, Y'shtola and Urianger were sharing notes on a thinning of the ether. It seems to be happening all over.
Which means it's being siphoned to something. And that's not a good thing when that much Aether is being siphoned away. I'm not a fan. Oh yeah, the difference is crazy simple. It's my life before and after the sleep apnea machine is crazy. I used to spend the entire day just looking like this. I couldn't sleep. Sleep apnea machine is so nice. Did you get one that's just the nose pillow, or do you have a full, like, mask?
does it now? And here I was, all set to blame my woes on that creaking mountain of refuse clogging up the Thaliac. I fear something has gone awry. Still, there's naught to be gained from starting in shadows. You can only do what can be done, and that but one thing at a time.
Not a good sign? Yep. Just so the nose, same here. I can't imagine what it would be like to have like a full face mask while sleeping. I wonder what would break first, Batman. Your mind or your body? The full Bane while you're trying to sleep. It was the woman who tamed Stola. I had the distinct feeling of being grabbed by the scruff of the neck and having the nonsense shaken out of me. When Alfino is back, I'd like to visit again and ask her what tales she has of grandfather. 6 left. I almost can't bear to hear what Maxima has to tell us. But it can't be bad news, can it? At least would have said. Unless... there's no point in speculating. Lee said she notified the guards of our coming, so we should head straight to the palace gate at the Alamegan Quarter. Be praying for good news. Learn what you can about Alfino's plight, and leave the search for our friends' lost souls to me. Let me go. Let me go. Let me go. Finally, I'm freed. Holy moly. Oh, Jesus. I have my mouse slightly off screen. I'm just trying to fly through and it just boop, jerks me to stop. Alright. Alright, Maxima. What's going on? This is the whole group of Populaires that defected? All 4 of them? I think they take their helmets off. They're inside.
I'm sorry to drag you halfway across the realm, but when Maxima mentioned Alfino, I thought you'd want to hear the news in person.
Yes. I imagine she would. It's so much taller than her.
Though I was hoping our reunion would be under more auspicious circumstances.
What happened to my brother? Where is Alfino?
Damn.
Never fear, my lady. Your brother was in fine health when I took my leave of him, and I have no reason to assume that has changed.
You assume?
If you will allow me, I shall endeavor to explain events. Our troubles began not long after we departed Doma. While crossing the burn, we were fired upon by the Emperor's personal guard and forced to make an emergency landing.
Thing is, this is the first time in the game where they haven't said, I'll explain, and then they pan up, fade to black, pan down, and they've explained it. And this is like the first time they've been like, let me explain, and then actually explain what happened.
As we stumbled from the wreckage, our attackers fell upon us again, and we would have perished there and then were it not for the intercession of a third party, a band of mercenaries whose leader claimed to pursue a vendetta against the Ascians. This shadow hunter, as he styled himself, then escorted us out of the wastes to relative safety. Upon arriving back in civilization, I gathered my Populares colleagues and prepared to flee the Empire. Master Alfino, however, declined the invitation to join us, preferring to continue his investigation into the Ascian threat.
So what you're saying is, you're a bubble-blowing baby who ran away from the Empire.
At least he's not lying in a heap in the burn. Tell us more about these Ascian hunters. Who are they? And is Alphonse still with them?
How would he know if he's still with them?
He is. As to who they are, I'm afraid I have nothing to tell you. Beyond the fact that they root out and destroy Ascians, they were unwilling to divulge anything which might serve to identify them.
So by destroy Ascians, does he mean, like, destroy their bodies so that they have to, like, re-find a new host? Because the Ascians need to be killed with, like, a huge burst of aether channeled into a blade. And I don't know if frickin' Gaius von Belsar has that technology. Well, like, survived? Exactly. It's fair.
They would not even reveal their next destination. But Master Alphino asked to accompany them all the same. Since parting company with your brother, we've been engaged in a game of cat and mouse with the Emperor's Guard. We made our way through province after province, finding the army busy restoring order wherever we went, until we finally arrived here in Alamigo. I cannot thank Commander Aldin enough for giving us such an unexpectedly warm welcome.
I'm not inclined to turn away refugees, no matter which land they call home. And if they can tell me how things lie in Garlemald, all the better.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, I'm going to turn away people who have information, are able bodies against the Empire, and know the inner workings of it. Yeah, I'm going to just turn them away because I'm racist. Come on. Of course he let you in.
Much I would tell you. During the course of our journey, we heard tales that an entire rebel army had been slaughtered in the space of a single night.
Yes.
It would seem my former comrades grew tired of putting down uprisings in the conventional manner, and chose instead to bring a formidable new weapon to bear. Details were sparse, but the rumor alone was enough to dampen the flames of rebellion.
Yay!
I have also heard
Chemical warfare.
That several companies have withdrawn from their designated provinces and begun marching westward. It is my assessment that the Empire's forces are mobilizing for a large-scale military engagement.
Westward? You mean they're getting ready to invade Alamigo?
This is actually stressful for me in real life. I'm like, come on, I worked so hard on liberating Doma and Alamigo. You're gonna be like, oh no, they're out here. They're gonna get you. Oh, goodness gracious.
We knew this was coming, but not that it would be so soon.
It's like, put me on the front line. I'll destroy the whole army.
We've begun to shore up our defenses. They won't stop an invading army.
No, they won't. Dispatch messengers to the Alliance leadership requesting reinforcements, and send word to our officers in the field to hasten completion of those border fortifications. Prepare to meet the Imperials head on!
Hell yeah. Best defense, punch him in the frickin' nose.
No matter how quickly we act, we still want for time. When the enemy comes into view, our best recourse will be to open negotiations with their commander, and see that the ensuing proceedings take as long as possible.
I do want to point something out. So, they waited until we got there to talk to Maxima. So this entire time, while waiting for us to arrive, they could have been prepping for this assault. But Maxima was like, I'm gonna wait here to just tell this all to frickin' tiny elf girl. Dash, hey man, how's it going?
Would you and Alize head to Doma and let Lord Hier know about this? I'm sure he'll want to hear about Alphino too.
Yeah, we don't have better things to do than be messenger
We'll
birds.
send word when...
Brain blast!
Untold sorrow must be changed. Ahead looms a calamity. Eon become instant. Throw wide the gates.
Who are you snatching up now? Wait, oh, Lisa's infected. Is it because she's not a scion anymore?
You heard it too.
Interesting. Brain blast TM. Brain freeze. Yeah. Oh my god. Back when I was young, my mom actually banned me from eating ice cream in public because I get brain freezes really easy, and I was a little bit of a drama queen. Definitely not anymore. Growing up, so I'd always be like, "Oh, brain freeze!" in public, and my mom was like, "Stop, you're so embarrassing." Big headache hours? Oh my gosh.
Well, at least we're both still standing.
Oh, thank the gods. I thought we'd lost you for a moment there. Why does this keep happening?
I wish I knew. Nothing we've tried has brought us any closer to an answer. We'll keep working on it. But first, we need to go and see Lord Hien.
I do love my fat cat. But you know what? It's time for my favorite minion. Oh, What are you? Wind up Chloe. Okay. People keep giving me minions, so I don't even remember all my what minions I even have anymore. Not companion. Come on, minion guide. Where is she? I want to have a shoulder Nanamo. I love that she just kind of crawls up top. Fire. Yeah, I mean, it's nice and wet outside, so fireball might be good to get everyone nice and toasty in the cold. So, Alfino is safe. For the present, at least. Now, all we need to worry about is a full-scale Imperial invasion. I'm actually glad Lee's tasked us with visiting Lord Hien. Better to be dashing from place to place and sitting around stewing over things we can't change. The Enclave. To the Enclave! Alright, Hien. Hey, all the important people are here. It's good thing I came to talk to all you guys about an important matter. Greetings, my friends. I was just discussing future endeavors with the members of our newly formed alliance. The Kojin and Confederacy you already know, and with your own strength of arms that won us the cooperation of the Steppes tribes. We have also been joined by our neighbors from Nagsha and the indomitable citizens of Dalmasca, where the scattered nature of the latter's existence will somewhat delay their official induction. These proud peoples have united under a single purpose: stand against the tyranny of the Garlean Empire. I'm glad to see your alliance come together so swiftly. As things stand, I fear we shall soon have need of your strength. What? Oh, yeah, the pan up, fade to black, pan down, we explained it. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I thank you for bringing me news of Alfino. His fate has never far from my thoughts, not only because he is our emissary. As for this sudden deployment of Imperial forces, I agree that Alamigo would be wise to shore up its borders with all haste. Every report we receive from our shinobi indicates a massing of troops in the western provinces. It seems all but certain the Empire is poised to bring its fist down upon Eorzea. That would help deflect the blow, but I cannot risk sending reinforcements just yet. We will remain vulnerable to airborne assault until our wall in the burn is in place. The all-important Allegan energy barrier. The energy barrier, yes. I thought to call it something more auspicious, a name drawn from the four lords of legend, perhaps Sirius Aegis or some such. Well, just a thought. The Ironworks engineers report that they have finished calibrating the generators and are ready to proceed to the testing stage. Do I get to see Daddy Sid? Have you the time to attend the first test? You've seen the field which protected Az's law firsthand. I'll be interested to hear how you think ours compares. I will come too if you don't mind. Though I'm no Y'shtola, I may be able to offer some insight. And there may be something there I can poke with my rapier. Of course. Time being of the essence, it would be best if we made directly for the burn. Yukiri, I leave you and Hakuro to bring the War Council to a close. Understood. Your mounts are saddled and ready, my lord. Where are the storms? 5 more quests. We're freaking burning through it, guys. We're so close, I can taste it. We will come to the burn by Yol and Falcon as before. Join me at the Overlook, near the House of the Fierce. Yeah, Hakuro, you got this, buddy. No. Oh god, I forgot that I'm in here. I hate this. I always get stuck in here. Verb. Give the word when you're ready to take wing. Let's go. Sid? Where you at, Sid?
It seems the engineers have matters well in hand. Should the barrier work as we intend, Doma will be free to reinforce her allies in Alamigo without fear of weakening her own borders.
So what's gonna go wrong? Something's gonna go wrong.
Honored friends,
it usually does.
The time has come to put your hard work to the test. Start the generator.
Dramatic. Hey.
Node 1 is operational. Nodes 2 to 8 are reporting similar energy levels. The barrier is forming.
Yeah.
1,000 yards. 2,000. 3,000. Expansion remains smooth. No fluctuations detected.
Is this actually going to go well? Big shield Lego. Big shield. This is excessive.
4,000. 5,000. Target altitude reached. The barrier is holding steady at 5,000 yards. We've done it.
And then they make a ship that can go 6,000.
Is that an Imperial airship? timing.
Isn't that the best timing?
But this is a gift, Mistress Alize. They can test our new wool for us.
Oh, so Shadowbringers, I am Iron. I'm 5 quests away. I'm so close. How you doing today, man? And also... Iron is a fantastic streamer. He's been doing a lot of Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy content. Please check him out. He is amazing. Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Stream titles fixed. Thank you, Iron. I did the thing where I get Shadowbringers and Stormblood mixed up in my head because they both start with S. See, that's how great of a streamer he is. He recognizes when titles are bad. Oh, I'm like blushing right now. Oh, God. And then they died.
Seems solid enough, though I was hoping for a fireball.
Okay. It's rude. Oh my God, did he get the Black Rose?
By the gods, it's Alphino.
Oh my God.
What are you? Let me go! He has my brother!
Lower the barrier!
Oh, but we just put it up. I wonder if they can lower the barrier just in one part, because they have a bunch of different nodes.
Be at ease, girl. The lad is not dead.
Oh, he had his soul sucked out of him. Yes, Kane. Alfie. No! Back here just in time, you did. Almost at Storm. Don't you dabbing emote at me, Iron. How dare you?
No, not him too.
Soul sucked out is better than Black Rose. That I will say that.
We could identify no cause and found no remedy. Thus I sought to return him to Doma, and into the arms of Lord Hien himself, it would seem.
Into the arms of Doma. Thought to return him to Doma.
It is a day for fated reunions.
It is a day for fated reunions.
Would you not agree, adventurer? Or should I address you as the warrior of light?
Well, they are gonna like spoil who he is. I mean, I know who he is, but they're gonna spoil who he is already. I figured they'd like hold that off till next expansion at least. Trying to push to get Black Mage ready in time for dungeon, but failing that, I mean, I appreciate a healer tank. Last time I fought you, you were like in shitty golden armor. Gaius von Baelsar.
Aye. Gaius van Baelsar, the Black Wolf. That was the title I was given. One I have long since relinquished.
But technically, according to Yoshi P, no time has elapsed.
Stand down. The legatus of the 14th Imperial Legion died in Castrum Meridianum. I am no more than Gaius Baelsar, a man without rank or allegiance.
Hell yeah. His VA is awesome. It has like this slight upward twang in it. It's not just a steady low voice, kind of gruff. It has a like upward twang to it, which is really interesting. Fair. Fast cues are fun, Kane.
Impossible. There's no way you could have survived.
You did get blown up by, like,
Do you
big
remember
robot.
how it unfolded? How I was deceived by La Habrea? How I was convinced that reviving the Ultima weapon would allow me to bring peace to Eorzea?
Yes, I remember.
The Ascian used me, as he used so many others, all to further the restoration of his wretched god. Yet even with the might of Alec at my command, you bested me. And as the Praetorium went up in flames, I was content to burn along with it. For a moment, at least.
You're like, you know, nah, I don't actually want to die.
To surrender my life thus would have been to betray all who died for my cause. It was for them that I dragged myself free of the rubble and swore vengeance.
Are you sure it was for them? Not just like, you know what, I don't want to die today. You can just say that. You can just say, hey, I didn't want to die in a fiery explosion. You don't have to, like, make up a reason for it.
The Black Wolf has shed his pelt, never to return to Garlemald or her legions. I live now only to exact revenge.
Wouldn't it be better for, like, the fight for you to invent things? Isn't that, like, your whole thing?
To be La Habrea, whom I gather you have since ushered onto oblivion.
Yeah, I blew him up. Or wait, did I blow him up, or did the king blow him up? I remember the king blowing up one scene.
Laboring to sow chaos throughout our world. I would see each and every one dragged into the light and put to the sword. Are the Scions not of like mind?
In this single respect, perhaps.
Voting on him? Okay, yeah. I killed, like, the unnamed girl one.
Began, and share what intelligence
Pokeball and ate him. It's true. He did suck him up through a straw.
Among the Ascians, the Black Masked Ilk are subordinate to those who wear red. This you already know. Yet among the red there exists a hierarchy. Those set adrift with the shards clearly stand below those still joined to the source.
La Habrea was a little baby bitch.
Nabriales, who once dared to intrude upon the Rising Stones, belonged to the former group, and while he was indeed a dangerous foe, his powers were inconsequential next to the paragons of the Source.
How do you know this? I got what, Iron? What on earth is that? Eorum. Eorum. And I have it, apparently.
The first was La Habrea, who plagues us no more. There is also the white-robed Elidibus, and the elusive Emmet Selk, about whom little is known.
I'm assuming he's the one who is the great-great-grandfather.
We have files on La Habrea and Elidibus, but I believe this Emmet Selk is new to us?
Oh, she's the girl Ascian. No wonder we don't remember her. Her name is ridiculous. It was just such gibberish, I couldn't even connect it to anything.
As I assume my brother told you, we have evidence to suggest that an Ascian now walks in the body of the Crown Prince. Have you identified this interloper?
Elidibus seems the most likely culprit. As emissary, it is his role to maintain the equilibrium between darkness and light. Your many deeds in Hydaelyn's name have upset the balance, and I believe he seeks to restore it by throwing his considerable power behind the Empire. As a leader of the Ascians, he is one of our primary targets.
Yeah, but he's in like a really strong body, a really strong, like, sexy body. Like really strong, ripped, just gorgeous body.
We inspected the bodies of the rebels, and the lack of any external injury drew my immediate attention. They had been slain by Black Rose, an alchemical invention of the Imperial Army. When I yet served as legatus, I ordered its production halted, and all stockpiles destroyed. Toxic gas is not a tool of conquest, but of extermination.
Toxic gas? This must be the new weapon Maxima warned us about. Something deadly enough to sweep away all resistance in a matter of hours. Gods. You don't think they're planning to use this in Alamigo, do you?
Literally all I'm thinking about right now is the Scourge from World of Warcraft.
Put your fears to rest. We infiltrated the production facility and destroyed all existing stores of the chemical along with the plant itself. Even should they rebuild the operation, they will not soon manufacture a...
Oh, don't worry, we solved the problem off screen. Like, what? That is the strat.
Regardless, I would draw your attention to a directive we discovered in the plant's records. The document was marked with a recent date and authorized with the signature of one Zeno Galvus.
Zenos.
A dead man signing the death warrant for thousands. 'Tis bad comedy.
But the tale does not end there. Within that same facility was a chamber filled with
cloning technology? You can't introduce cloning to me? Oh. Yeah, you're right. You're right. His moral line does extend to gas chambers. He didn't pass over the worse than Hitler line.
And what should we find in each and every incubator?
Okay.
But a young Emperor Solus.
I guess they didn't introduce cloning here. They had it in the Crystal Tower raid. Still.
For these abominations, or was it the will of the Emperor? I must know which hand.
Oh, Kane, we corrected me at the same time.
My rank. I am yet a son of Garlemald.
Both of us were thinking the same thing. Flail's an idiot.
My homeland. It is time I return to the hunting of shadows. We should focus on our common foe. To reopen old quarrels now would serve no purpose.
You saved my brother's life, so I'm willing to let sleeping dogs lie. But in truth, it's not my decision to make.
Fine. I've been reading so much One Piece, so I'm just like on the ball for forgiving villains. Like, that's all One Piece does, is make a villain and then like make you forgive them. There's more important matters at hand.
There was a time when I scorned those who placed their faith in false gods, even as I, in my blinkered conviction, place mine in Ascian promises. Unlike yours, my strength of will and my restraint was found wanting. We shall meet again, warrior of light.
I have a name. Come on, you didn't code your voice actors to say every single name in existence? Oh, I love One Piece. I'm actually on my second read-through of it. I stopped reading around, like... Okay, spoilers for One Piece for those who aren't up to date. Sort of up to date. I stopped reading One Piece around the beginning of the fight with Kaido, with the Worst Generation. Because what I like to do is let it build up a bunch, but I figured... I mean, I read it all over a course of time, so I wanted to go through and re-experience the story. So I've been rereading One Piece over the last, like, 2 weeks. I'm on chapter, like, 450 right now. One Piece is like one of my favorite stories of all time. Which is wild, because I didn't read it until last year. Because, I mean, my perception of One Piece was definitely hurt by the 4Kids dub when I was a kid. And I just never went back to it. And to be fair, the anime is kind of like pretty low tier quality, but the manga is so good. It's so good. Love it in a story when the villain respects the hero is great. It really is. It makes the villain actually more of a person. Oops, all caps. You just getting into it. Oh my god, how far have you gotten, Iron? I got my friend into it as well. But he's doing this thing where he doesn't want to just read it. He wants to own it. So he bought the three of the box sets of One Piece that have like an arc comprised in each of them. So he's not even like that far in the story. I just want him to like be up to date with me so I can talk about it.
I am content to leave the fine-tuning of the barrier to cleverer minds. Let us bid our friends from the Ironworks farewell, and see what can be done for Alphino back in Dorma.
Oh, you're just finishing Arlong. Okay. Can you, in the section that's promoting my friends in my Discord, can you, like, link to the podcast or something? It's one of their favorite series. Oh, so they're doing, like, showing the newbie. So are you reviewing, episodes or chapters? Because if you're doing episodes, that's gonna be rough. There's a lot of filler. A lot of filler. I'm just watching a movie tonight. Alphino is safely enclosed in my private chamber. My finest healer is examining him as we speak. I poked him, but he didn't get up. I've spoken with the physician, and there are no outward signs of illness. Alphino is lost in a sleep from which he cannot be awoken, just like the others. It seems like even the lands of the Empire were not far enough away to escape the cursed voice. I share your frustration, Alice. I do, but Alphino is returned to us alive and otherwise unharmed. All that remains is to find the means to wake him. Until then, you will fulfill your duties as a scion. Wasn't your brothers both? The March on Arlong Park is one of your favorite moments in the show? Really? I feel like there's I don't know. I feel like there's so many good points in the series that's wild. Arcs at a time, we're getting ahead before releasing any. Probably will start putting them out next week. Okay, sweet. Yeah, definitely put it in the promoting my friends section. I want to be able to watch it or listen to it. Oh no, Dolphin. Yeah, I don't know. I had one monitor for most of my life. I didn't get a second one until I started streaming last year. So just my whole life changed when I got a second monitor. So much so that my wife, for her birthday, her parents and I got her a really nice monitor. Not like a $400 one, but we spent like $200 on it, and because she saw how awesome it was for me to have two, and she's like, I want two. Only up to the Katakuri fight. That's still pretty far in. Katakuri, that's like what like chapter 800. The business then, my lord. Now that we know Shiryu's wall works as intended, can we expect reinforcements to Alamigo? You most certainly can. As promised, we will send troops to bolster our allies in Aozi without delay. You may be aware, however, they won't arrive without delay. Save for some few who boast teleportation magics, the bulk of our force must be transported by sea, a lengthy voyage for which the smaller vessels favored by the Confederacy are ill-equipped. So you're saying the pirates, who their entire trade is on the seas, it's going to be hard for them to cross the sea? The pirates are going to have a hard time crossing the sea. Their whole thing is boats. What do you mean? It is a very good fight, Nest. Beyond the procurement of ships, I think it unlikely that our East Alden and friends will consent to any involvement in military operations. But I am certain they will afford Alphino a berth aboard one of their vessels. I shall have a cryogen accompany him at every ilm of the way to the Rising Stones. You have my thanks, Lord Yen. You giddy. I will go on ahead with our friends to Alamigo. Enlist all those capable of teleportation and put them at our disposal of the Eosian Alliance. As soon as possible. They will form the vanguard. Yes, my lord. You do not want to put your most powerful people in the vanguard. Are you kidding me? So yeah, those who can use teleportation magic, we're going to put them in the front of the enemy lines to be killed first. Like, what? This is exactly what we'd hoped for. Legion Alliance leaders would be glad to indeed to welcome the combined strength of the East. And also the gas thing was solved off screen, so that's good too. Meanwhile, at the Black Rose chemical plant. You think they would have blown it up? Like, why is it still operational?
Our supplies at Black Rose have been ruined, but the new plant is already under construction. We should have the first batch ready in time for the offensive, Your Radiance.
Okay, goatee. Get the fuck out of here. I actually am pretty out of date with My Hero Academia. Really, I haven't read it in like 6 or 7 months. I've been letting it build up a bunch.
See that you do.
Leave like his personal garb with a little mask on their mouth. Grandpappy!
Ah, yes, the infamous Black Rose. If I recall correctly, Gaius did not much care for the invention.
Shoot him again! He's very slimy.
A ruthless and indiscriminate weapon indeed, this airborne poison. It seems you are capable of making decisions worthy of your bloodline.
With no gift for sorcery, we Garleans must look to Magitech to even the odds. If it spares the needless deaths of our soldiers and serves the cause of this empire, there is no method I would not employ.
Murder!
How very noble.
Indiscriminate murder! Want to catch up with MHA just so I can read the Vigilante spinoff? The Vigilantes spinoff is really good. I also read like half of that before I stopped. It seems to be nearing its end, really. Solus, yes. He's a little slimy boy, but he's very cool.
Truly, though, I must commend you for embracing your role as Emperor. You play the part of the determined ruler well. Sometimes even I catch myself believing.
Shoot him again!
A silent agent of death. Now that I think on it, Black Rose may well possess the perfect aspect. Slowly but surely, the deluge of light has worked upon the ether here in the source, and the gas should be most susceptible to its influence.
Wait. Not only is it a chemical weapon, it's also going to, like, ride the light aether? Like, what even does this mean? He's so pretty, he is gorgeous. I mean, the shock of white, that's always great.
Leave you to your own
the gender bent rogue from X-Men.
And bloody the land with your grand and glorious war.
Oh, the swagger in that walk.
Well, you do what, precisely?
Need you ask? I will be doing what all Asians do.
I am well aware that your kind exists only to usher in the next calamity. But you seem oblivious to the harm your singular agenda causes to the Empire. You cannot have forgotten the events which followed your mortal demise. Our homeland was plunged into civil war for your failure to name a successor.
The edifice you so carefully constructed was but a hair's breadth from collapse.
By the haiku? Lamald? Oh. Hey. Snarky mean girl pretty. Oh, so petty. Oh, I see. All right. About Garlemald. Garlemald's all about military might and trying to eradicate the existence of icons. Twisted noble cause, steel cages around their hearts. Well, the last line's getting to me. Steel cage around their heart. Twisted noble cause, steel cages around their heart. Let's do steel cage around their heart. The plural isn't good. Steel cage around their heart. Misery follows. There you go, Nest. There's your haiku. The rhyme is very pretty in his own way. Garlic seed. I don't know what you're talking about, Dolphin. I do not have NGU playing in the background. What do you mean? I definitely didn't get addicted because of you guys. What are you talking about? You guys did this to me, alright? It's not my fault. I'm weak. When it comes to idle games, I'm weak. Not only do I have NGU idle running, I also have Legends of Eidolon running. I'm literally running 2 idle games in the background while I'm playing. You guys broke me.
Are you truly so naive? You thought me oblivious to the consequences of a departure so painstakingly timed?
It was by design?
Well, of course it was. Though I will admit the resulting panic exceeded even my wildest expectations. But how can you be surprised? Throwing the world into disarray was the very purpose for which this nation was, as you say, so carefully constructed.
Level 70? Hell yeah, Kane. Dolphin, his JoJo poses are great. Anyone who JoJo poses is automatically top tier.
Now, if you have no further questions, I must be on my way.
Limey.
Since we may not meet again in this lifetime, it would be remiss of me not to offer a word or two of gratitude. I really must thank you for this surplus of vessels. I can mold any host into my own image, but having bodies tailor-made for me in this fashion is so much less tiresome.
Interesting. Okay, so this is his own form then. I figured this was just like the body of the Emperor that he possessed. But this is like the form of itself. Alright.
You dabbled in elegant cloning techniques, yes? It certainly is a compelling, not to mention entertaining, field of research. And of all the options available, you chose the Founding Father on whom to experiment. You have a twisted streak to you, Varus, like grandsire, like grandson, hey?
Bit of both? Okay.
If events play out as planned, this will become something of a family enterprise. You will be the capstone of this world, I the anchor and shard, and together we will give the lie to this star's fraudulent existence.
Huh. The star's fraudulent existence. Is the star not supposed to exist? The lie is that the star was supposed to exist. Huh. Interesting. That line seems to have a lot of gravity to it. Shoot him again. If he doesn't shoot him again before the end of Shadowbringers, I'm going to be very upset. All be answered in time. Best thing I can hear. The form he prefers, but not his true form. Oh, I see, I see. We must leave now to convene with Eorzea's leaders, and it may be some time before I return to Doma. Kuro, I leave you in command. I shall assemble the advance party with all haste, and join you in Alamigo forthwith. I just received word from Lys. The Alliance has established a base camp near Alamigo's northeastern border. Once we've arrived in the locks, we'll report to the resistance officers stationed in Portia Praetoria, who will point us in the right direction. Let's not keep them waiting. That's something I love about it, is a lot of stories will just kind of like not care about pre-established lore and just leave like you say, like unfinished threads, like threads that haven't been, you know, wound back to the source, and they just kind of like are interesting plot points that are just left to fester. I do love that this game almost like relishes in the fact that it gets to link all its narrative together. It's so good. I'm flying the wrong direction because I was being so like giddy. Azzy! Yo! How you doing, dude? It's been so long. How's it going, man? Go back to see this stuff knowing what I know now, so satisfying. Yeah, I definitely feel like a New Game Plus playthrough would be cool. Although I'm editing through everything I did, so I'm kind of already experiencing a New Game Plus. Stuff in 2.0 matters in 5.3. That's what's so good about this fucking game. Oh, you must be the Scion Party. I'll sort of look out for you. If you follow me, I'll take you directly to the Alliance headquarters. Another cutscene? Movie time with Taleo, Final Fantasy Edition. Oh, hey! It was an Ishgardian soldier. I love how they're kind of like intermingling all the designs to show it really is an alliance. They weren't just like, oh, okay, we'll have just like an alliance uniform and just kind of like put everyone in it. They're kind of keeping everyone's individual identities while still having them be an alliance.
Welcome back, you two. Greetings, Lord Hien. Glad you could join us.
Glad to be here. I would have come sooner, where our own defense is not in question. but I am pleased to report that our soldiers are assembling for deployment to Alamigo as we speak.
We're grateful for your support. Thanks to the efforts of our allies, it won't be long before we've established defensive positions on this front as well.
We have some good news too. Alphino has come back to us.
He kind of came back. His soul's not there. Really over this job? Oh. I was just walked out the other day. Act pain I can't even bend over. Oh, Azzy, I'm sorry, dude. You know, you think about working with monkeys and it seems like all fun and games. That COVID was rough. Like, I'm still feeling COVID. My wife and I are still... It's so weird because you'll feel pretty good for most of the day and then you'll just crash at one point. Your throat will hurt. You'll start coughing. It's almost like your body reminds you, it's like, oh yeah, I'm sick. I forgot. Like I had to not go to work yesterday and not stream because it just kind of like popped back. 3 more MSQ, including this one? God damn. Well, I would say just make sure you have another job lined up before you quit. It's not the most safe, especially in today's, you know, everything that's wrong, to quit a job without having one lined up. Yes? Oh, so close. I would love to finish this stream. I would love it so much.
So, Alphino won't wake up. Gaius van Baelsar is alive and hunting Ascians, and the Empire is planning to poison us all with toxic gas. Does that sound about right?
The good news is, Alphino's, like, husk of a body's back. The bad news,
Ordinarily, any one of those things would have left me in shock. But the way things have been lately, it's all starting to seem pretty normal.
Have you looked into temp agencies, Azzy? That's something I might recommend. Temp agencies give you a lot of ability to jump from job to job and get new experiences. Also for your resume, experiences, while keeping you employed in like a central temp agency. A lot of the people I work with in the state job that I'm in came from a temp agency to work there. And then once a job position came available, they kind of just slotted themselves in and took that position rather than being part of the temp agency. So it might be something good for you to look into. Literally us in 2022, yeah.
Getting back to your report, are we sure this Black Rose is the weapon Maxima was talking about?
I mean, if there was another weapon, that'd be wild.
And it seems we have Alphino to thank for sparing us an early demonstration of its effectiveness. I have a feeling this won't be the last time.
What does Alphino do?
The Empire will serve us here in Eorzea. The threat of an unknown weapon has had us all on edge. But now that we know what we're dealing with, we can take steps to defend against it.
Yeah, so how temp agencies work is they're like a central hub that employs you. And then when like places need work done on a temporary basis, like a job comes up that needs more bodies, but they don't have the ability to hire. They basically take people from a temp agency, pull them in for a contracted stint of time. And then once that time's over, they either renew your contract with them, or you go back into the agency to be redistributed somewhere else. And if you don't like the job that you currently have that you're assigned to, they can relocate you to a different place. One of my previous coworkers couldn't handle the stress of the job, so they brought her back from working with us and moved her to working at a different like government agency. I can't remember which one, but they were able to just kind of like pluck her up and move her somewhere else. And then it gives you experience in a lot of different fields. And then oftentimes people from temp agencies, because you work there for like a year or however long you work, you get all this experience in the job. They end up, if a position opens up, they usually just hire you. So temp agencies are a really good place to look if you don't have a specific thing you're aiming for. That's my spiel.
As for Gaius, I'm not sure what to think. Am I happy he's alive? Not in the slightest. Am I happy he's hunting Ascians? Aye, I'd have to say I am.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel. It's like, he's doing cool things over there that I don't mind.
We have a tale of our own, as it happens. When we sent envoys to the Imperial Army to request talks, they returned with the message that Varys Zos Galvus would be attending.
The Emperor himself. Well, Varys did sanction the Popularis peace mission. But knowing that an Ascian walks in his son's skin, I do not see how we can trust him or anyone from that nest of vipers.
It is pretty hard.
The Alliance would proceed with negotiations regardless, if only to give ourselves more time to prepare. We do, however, require your cooperation.
Right. Yes. So, as a condition for the talks to go forward, the Empire has requested that a member of the Scions be present. There'll be a representative from each Alliance nation, of course, but I'm afraid we have to ask that you come along too.
I'm a Scion.
God, Lise, you know how much I hate politics. But then, what choice do I have?
Ali, say, are you gonna let your temper get the better of you and start a war? Or, I guess, make the war worse?
Very well. I shall attend as the Scion's representative.
I do love that this has just been like the Alice portion of the expansion.
In case you're wondering
I
why
love
I
her
didn't ask
character.
you, the Empire also requested the presence of Eorzea's champion.
Oh, I see. I'm not acting as a Scion. I'm acting as fucking Icon Godslayer. I'll be there to look pretty and not say a word.
That's settled then. We don't know what Varys means to bring to the table, or why he wants you there, but having you close at hand will make all the difference.
I don't know if this will connect with anyone else, but Lisa's earrings, the way they're red on top and kind of frilled at the bottom, it reminds me of those strawberry hard candies that like you randomly find in an old person's house, or like in your bag during trick-or-treating. I don't even know where you buy them, but they literally look like that, where it's like a pinkish red sleeve with green on the top. It looks like a strawberry. I can't unsee it.
The meeting will take place on the border. Anticipating an early assault, we mean to position the bulk of our forces nearby.
The Alliance leaders should already be on their way. Once you're ready, we can head out and join them.
Is this a solo duty? I'm assuming? Solo duty, a dungeon, and 4 quests. You now can't unsee it. Hey, Bubble! How you doing? How's your day going, girl? I am a cat boy on a table. If I could knock this over, I would, but I cannot. I wish to be a cat, but there's nothing I can knock over. More movie watching time? Yeah, I know. This is like the easiest stream ever. I just get to watch a movie and make jokes all through it. It's great. I don't even have to like do any playing. Parlay with the Emperor. Don't you new desk? Hell yeah! Cross the internet fist bump. My wife is actually the one who usually builds things. I have bad hands and a little bit of a what's the phrase for it? I think they should call it like the IKEA temper, where you put something together and you're like, God damn it! So she's usually the one who makes the things. To be a cat and cannot cause mayhem, it is torture, Dolphin. Yo, Emperor dude.
Esteemed representatives of the Eorzean Alliance. On behalf
Don't
of
you
the
butter me
Gallian
up.
Empire, I thank you for inviting me here today.
Nice thing about it, kind of chill stream despite the insane plot rolling. Yeah, I don't know if you can call, like, all the horrible things happening chill, but I know what you mean.
As this parley was convened at your request, I invite you to speak first.
That's good, Bubble.
Very well, Your Radiance. I, Nanimo Ulnamo, 17th in the line of Ul, should be pleased to oblige you.
Damn. Nanimo at the head of the table.
As recent events in Alamigo and
She could
Doma
sit on his
maintain,
helmet.
the subjugation and exploitation of neighboring nations is not a sustainable policy. Should this day end in war, you may very well defeat us. But you will never extinguish the people's desire for freedom. Though it may not be in our lifetime, there will be another revolution, another war, and the cycle will continue.
That's basically a big metaphor for, like, getting punched down, getting up and be like, I didn't hear no bell. You may beat me down, but I'm getting back up fighting.
Doma has entered into a concord with the nations of Eorzea, a partnership wherein we recognize one another as equals.
Hey.
Garlemald could be afforded similar treatment. You need only set aside your ambitions and join us in paving a path towards peace.
His armor is so ridiculous.
You will not win me over with sophistry, Your Grace. As you know only too well, this alliance lacks the strength to keep the peace within its own borders. Even now, your struggles with the Beastmen continue unabated.
I don't know if you guys can hear that outside, but there's like a horrible grinding noise. I don't even know what it is. It's frightening.
Divided, you sow this fertile soil with the seeds of your differences and reap naught but discord and chaos.
I want to sow things in fertile soil, thanks.
Eorzea must be united under one leader, one purpose. I would offer you both and bring an end to your strife.
With all due respect, Your Radiance, the only thing that you offered the people of Alamigo was fear and hopelessness.
The citizens of Doma can also attest to the meager arms of Imperial rule. There is no purpose to be found in a life of oppression, each day more uncertain than the last.
Our people are willing to die for their freedom. A great many already have, and countless more will, if we don't put an end to this madness here and now.
We brought order and stability to your lives. This madness and bloodshed is of your own making. You broke the peace, not Garlemald.
His voice actor reminds me of Ansem from Kingdom Hearts.
Order? You kill our peoples, despoil our lands, take everything that is ours. And what? You expect us to lick the boot that grinds our faces into the dirt?
I'll nod too. I'll nod too.
I expect you to weigh the costs. To recognize that countless lives have been lost on both sides in pursuit of a greater good, and to not squander all we have achieved in a fit of
petulance. Ooh, I want to slap his face.
Your Radiance.
Pinch his dumb cheeks.
I fear I can personally attest to the dangers of pursuing one's vision with such righteous fervor.
He was OG Gaius? Really, Iron? I didn't know that.
For 1,000 years, the Holy See of Ishgard waged war with dragons. 1,000 years of sacrifice, of sorrow and hate, in which we bathed in the blood of friend and foe alike. Had it gone on any longer, we may well have drowned. Yet we have chosen to raise ourselves out of this bloody spiral, and have since made peace with our former enemy.
I just love hearing that man speak. Oh, Ermic.
So I understand. No doubt the dragons were more receptive to your overtures in the wake of their leader's demise.
Was he storing, like, nuts in his mouth like a freaking chipmunk?
You speak of peace, yet use war to achieve it. Your father would not have bothered to obscure his intent with honeyed words.
That's literally all he did.
He understood that strength is all that matters in the end.
He literally, all he did was obscure his intent with honeyed words. He lied forever. What do you mean? His whole MO was that he lied and obscured his intent. Yeah, King. Ermic is bae.
Without his clarity of vision, I can but wonder what will become of Ishgard and her people.
He turned himself into an icon. You hate those things.
There was a time when Garlemald too lacked a leader of conviction. Weak and unable to wield magic, we were at the mercy of the strong from whom we sought refuge in the bitter cold of the north. Were it not for the discovery of ceruleum and the subsequent development of Magitech, we might never have gained the power to take back that which was rightfully ours.
He definitely is talking out of his ass. It's like the whole know you mentality he has. It's like, interesting. You say that you have peace, but you fought for it. Is this not the same? Ugh.
You speak as if your people were the first to have been driven from their homes. Limsa Lominsa was built by wayward souls in search of a place to call their own. On the shores of Vilbrand we found it, and from those humble beginnings did we grow and flourish. And all without robbing our neighbors of their liberty.
You are pirates.
So saith the pirate. Am I to believe that you simply asked the kobolds to yield up their lands?
You know what? This argument is valid.
That you did not drive them out like rats in the hold of one of the many ships seized by your privateers.
The king of political Twitter. Oh, ERP and degeneracy. Ooh, sign me up. Sign me up. Ooh, yikes.
I will concede that after centuries of exile, reclamation may be mistaken for invasion. Nevertheless, it is not. And those who till stolen soil have no right to object when cast out in turn.
Damn, boy. Now it's my turn to speak.
Your uncompromising nature rivals that of the Ixal.
You can't... Your bid for peace can't start with racism. Like, come on, Kane-sama. It's like, you're just as bad as those Ixals. Like, are you kidding me?
They too lament circumstances which they themselves perpetuate. Were they but to embrace peace, we would welcome them with open arms. Indeed, some few have done just that, and now receive of the Twelve's Wood's bounty.
What's his gotcha?
Your people might learn from their example.
You dare compare us to the Birdmen? You who thought to invoke the 12 and threaten all of creation?
What? Those are...
I came here in the
That isn't even a gotcha moment. He's like, but you did this bad thing.
Will accomplish nothing. Despite what you people may believe, I am not wont to choose the sword over the olive branch. 'Tis but a pity men are loath to accept one without first being shown the other.
Wait! I beg you. This meeting was supposed to be a chance to find a way forward together, not to bemoan the missteps which brought us here. Please. If you truly consider violence a last resort, there must be a way we can come to an agreement.
I'm here
As
too.
Mistress Alize says, we did not come here to bicker over the past, but to discuss how we might strive towards a brighter future. Emperor Varys, may I suggest a short recess, that all present might compose themselves prior to beginning anew?
I like that.
Very well. I pray this intermission will suffice to move these talks in a more constructive direction.
Yeah, really, all this has been was like, you did bad thing, but you did other bad thing. Like, this whole cutscene has just been like, no you, no you, no you, no you. He does drip power. He also has the drip. Although his frickin' pauldrons are ridiculous. That's like on par with World of Warcraft level frickin' pauldrons. One sec. Sorry about that. Just doing someone over on the other screen. Like the really funny armor noises while everyone else is not true. It is just kind of like clinking armor, clinking armor. Huh. I am the one who is right. Clinking armor, clinking armor. This is really not my forte. After his Radiance's little performance, it was all I could do not to swear at him. I honestly don't know how I ended up playing the mediator. I just asked myself what Alfino would have done. Tried my best to do the same, and by some miracle it worked. But there really is no common ground to be found with that man, nor do I think he looked for any. The question becomes, what did he come here to do? Because you may be certain it wasn't to make peace. Whatever it is, I can't make it out. Not yet, at least. We do have a little time before the parley is due to reconvene, though. Why not try consulting with the illustrious leaders? Mayhap they have some insight to share. Drop the pup? Definitely. Belle! Come here, pup! Come on, Belle! Hey, girl! Come here! Come here! Yay! Yeah. There she is! There's my puppy! Here's my puppy. Hi, Belle. Oh, kisses. You're giving me kisses. Okay, thank you. Thank you for kisses. Ah. Oh, you knocked my headphones off. Ah, I love you. Now go back to cuddling with your mom. I know that's what you like to do. Hi, Merweb. I will say one thing for this Varys. He is well versed in Eorzean history. His interest in our affairs is that of a beast in its prey. The conqueror would know his enemies. All should know their enemies. Yet there is much and more we do not know of the Empire. It's up to us to change that here and now. Thank you for the stretch, Nest. Oh. Like 6 joints just popped. Ha! You would have me ask the Emperor himself. Well, mayhap there was some wisdom to that. We can skirt the storm of his displeasure when we yet come to our answers, even if it does mean sailing close to the wind. Ein Animo. Well, have mercy. But for Lady Alice's timely interjection, we might well have come to blows in the negotiation table. Not that Emperor Varus left us many great options. Is unconditional surrender all he will accept, do you think? Ere he arrived, I never said yes, but having heard him speak, I can't help but think he came with some other end in mind. Exactly. He's building up to something, I know it. Then should we approach the rest of the parley? Do you have anything to say, Warrior Light? Invite him to explain himself. You believe he is more apt to reveal the truth if we put him at his ease? Mayhap you are right. Thank you, Taleo. You're welcome. This parley was never like to bring peace, but I had hoped to learn something of Emperor Varus's relationship with the Asians. As have we all. Yet if he is in league with them, he is not like to volunteer the fact. And if he is not, how much weaker would his position seem for their presence? If we are to broach the particular subject, we would need to be subtle. Would that I knew more of the man. If you would indulge me. Lord Hien, you have received an imperial education, did you not? Is it true that the Emperor's will is considered absolute? There is no higher authority in all of Garlemald, nor else in the heavens. Come to that. Veneration of the gods is forbidden, the only worship permitted being to that of his radiance's own person. That sounds suspiciously like religion itself. I share your disdain for the hypocrisy. Even as they denigrate the idea of faith, they revere their leader with the fervor others reserve for the divine. 'Tis a flaw common to much of the doctrine they fed us, logical on the surface, perhaps, contradictory upon personal examination. I wonder if a discussion of various discrepancies might prompt Varus to reveal something. Alright, Alice, let's do this. Got a good, affectionate girl. She is. I love her so much. You've spoken with everyone, then? Now all that remains is to await the pleasure of the Emperor. I hope we fare better as a second attempt.
Now then, who would have the floor?
Before we resume, I wish to offer you an apology. After you graciously accepted our invitation to discuss an armistice, we have done naught but rebuke you at every opportunity. I believe I speak for all of us when I say we are deeply sorry for our discourtesy.
I'll admit your familiarity with our affair surprised me, and served to remind me how little I know of yours.
I think all here can understand the desire to reclaim one's homeland. But why expand further? That is my question.
If I may, the answer can be found in the Imperial doctrine they took great pains to impart to my people. Recognizing the threat icons posed to the world, Solus Zos Galvus decreed that they were to be eradicated. To this end, he began a campaign to unite all lands under the Garlean banner. Or so we were taught. Yet the Emperor only reached the burn, the Baron said to have been laid waste by icons, after conquering all the lands that lay between. What is more, I am quite certain the practice of summoning was not nearly so widespread in the days before the Empire's founding.
When you put it like that, it all starts to sound like an excuse, doesn't it? But to distract from what? Why are you really waging this war?
Finally, you ask the right question.
Doesn't he sound like Ansem? It can't be just me, right? His voice is so cool.
I can but hope you heed mine answer and at last accept the righteousness of our cause. My goal is this: to return the world to the way it once was, the way it was always meant to be. In doing so, mankind will be made whole once more. No longer will we suffer from the dissension born of our differences. There will be but
Even
one
has yellow
race,
eyes like
a
Ansem.
perfect race, as we were when time began.
What in Rorga's name are you talking about?
I am talking about the origins of this star, of the source and its 13 reflections. At the instant of the great sundering, 'twas not only the world that was shattered, but mankind itself. Thus were we divided into myriad races, each with its own unique imperfections. That is why man looks upon his neighbor and feels fear and hatred, why he wages war, why he kills his brother.
The world broke, and now racism. Gotcha.
You all in your own way have proven as much today. The peace you seek is but a fleeting solution to a fundamental problem. One which calls for more drastic measures. To bring about everlasting peace, our worlds must be rejoined. That is the goal the Empire would see realized. The glorious future unto which we shall one day shepherd mankind.
Damn. Boy's lost his marbles.
A rejoining of worlds. I have heard this tale of the Source and its reflections before.
Are these not the self-same desires as the Ascians?
Emperor Varys, do not trust in their words. They will lead you to your doom. My father thought to use them, but in the end he succumbed to their temptations. He embraced summoning like so many other pawns before him. Do not tell us you mean to do the same.
Good point, Azzy. He's like, broke it, I'll fix it. Doing it in a very poor way, though.
To be a pawn, free from the burden of choice, would be a blessing. But I forswore that privilege the day I learned that the Gallian Empire was built by the hand of an Ascian.
What?
None of their jaws dropped. Come on, what a big reveal.
Yes. My grandsire, the former emperor, is of their number. And who better to build an empire capable of bringing about the calamitous change we desire?
Good point, Kane. Good point.
Would you condemn me for this alliance? For bowing to the will of these shadowy masters, when the prize is true and lasting peace?
What? Your prize is a lie. Your master's demons.
I come not to conquer, but to liberate. To free man from the prison of divergence.
Imagine a world united. One perfect race beneath a single standard.
I really don't like how they keep using the word race. It's a little bit uncomfortable.
An army before whose might these servants of darkness and light would fly as leaves in a storm, never again to meddle in man's affairs. We would be the masters of our own fate. I bid you join me. Not as subjects of Garlemald, but of a new nation. And together we shall win freedom for ourselves and generations yet unborn.
You want to trigger another half-dozen calamities? You can't be serious!
Have you forgotten how many died? There will be no one left.
Do you truly imagine we would aid you in your bloodletting?
It is unthinkable.
Oopsie doopsie, everyone's mad now. But how about this half of the table? Are we gonna stand up angry too? Oh, nope, there we go. They all stood up. Should we stand up?
And what is the alternative? To be as cattle waiting for slaughter? I would have us work together, that we might take fate into our own hands.
Into your hands, perhaps. But what of the other worlds, your radiance? With every calamity, you obliterate a star and every soul that dwells on it.
To the Ascians, we are all but tiny, momentary specks within an indifferent universe. We cannot hope to oppose them until we have been made whole once more.
We killed like 3 of them.
Are these truly the words of Garlemald's ruler? The flaws and foibles which you so abhor are what make us who we are. Every nation, even yours, Emperor Varys, is made whole through the combination of these imperfections, the strengths of one compensating for the weaknesses of another. While it is true that man succumbs all too often to anger and avarice, he may yet overcome his baser instincts through the forming of bonds with others, fostering community and cooperation. That the protector
Human do
of an
good and
empire
bad.
should not only reject these fundamental truths, but seek to change them at so dear a cost to life is indefensible.
Yeah, you tell him. Dunk on him, Nanamo.
Such a man is not fit to govern.
Oh! Oh, girlfriend, you tell him. Tell him, little sweet potato. Exactly.
And you, warrior of light, would you refuse me as well?
Yeah. We can defeat the Ascians as we are. Odd.
It would seem the Alliance is of one mind on this matter.
You Eorzeans never cease to disappoint me. Though I suppose I have only myself to blame for expecting more from savages. This discussion is at an end. I bid you make ready for our next meeting. It will not be at the negotiating table.
Well, we're gonna hang out like friends? Go get ice cream together? You're in VR now? Oh my. Get savages? That's me. That's just me. You know? Oh, I want ice cream so bad. Wife can't eat dairy anymore, so we're kind of keeping it out of the house. So I'm not having ice cream in solidarity with her. Low-key, high-key racist. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Came back to find Doma's advance party ready and waiting for battle. So as worrying a little chat with the Emperor was, it did buy enough time for at least some of her allies to arrive. 3 more. I don't think I'm gonna be able to finish this tonight. I got like 30 minutes left to stream. It's been one long movie.
I'm not sure what I was expecting from our meeting with the Emperor, but it wasn't that. Still, at least we know now what he's really after.
I guess, yeah.
Aye, a future built on a mountain of bodies. I too want the Ascians dead, but not at any cost.
The last of the reinforcements from Dorma arrived not long ago. I pray it will be enough. Given the Emperor's stated goal, this is a battle we can ill afford to lose.
Oh, definitely, Azzy. When we get ice cream, we do that, but we have to go somewhere to get it. Like, go to the store, pick it out. I can't just, like, pop over to my corner store and get dairy-free ice cream. So, like, you know, if I'm feeling particularly tempted, I pop on my shoes, walk 3 minutes over to the corner store and buy something. Sugary and sweet. But can't be ice cream. I can eat ice cream in front of her without having some for herself.
If the Gallians come in force, we may not have much say in the matter, even with our combined strength.
I'll beat him up.
We knew from the first that the odds would be against us. But if there is even the slightest chance of victory, we must do everything in our power to seize it.
We must seize it, full stop.
Hell yeah.
Here!
Oh, she's in the background, like, idle stancing.
To join an irregular unit and support the main host. I won't bother asking if you're minded to fight.
Oh, we're ready. Frickin' students of the same master, 2 red mages up for a glorious adventure.
And for once, there's no one around to countermand me. Not that they would. Not even my brother.
Probably would.
But we all know who really make the difference. Ready to frighten some Garleans?
I will poke him with my sword.
I wouldn't want to be on their side.
Fair.
Might I ask you to accompany the Dorman contingent? They are strangers here, and your presence would do much to raise their spirits.
What about the Ishgardian? Like, I guess the Ishgardians have been, like, in the area a bunch as part of the Alliance already.
We would be honored.
It would be
When
honored.
our people stride out with you in their midst, I dare say the Eorzeans will feel an ilm taller themselves. High spirits have a way of spreading.
What I wouldn't give to join you. But my duties as field commander will not allow it. I'll leave the front lines in your
Dude,
capable
Raubon,
hands.
get on the front line. You gotta start killing things. Bull of Alamiga. I mean, he is old and has 1 arm only, but still.
Comrades, ready your arms. The hour of battle has come. May the crystal guide us to victory!
Yay, Crystal Mom. I miss Crystal Mom. Pippin! You think they said the NPCs just like run in random directions as part of their pathing?
Twice as hard. If Alphinaud wakes to find the Imperials have won, I shall never hear the end of it.
Yeah, good point. The Scions are pretty much like broken in terms of their forces right before a big battle.
It's strange. I thought I would be terrified when the fighting started. I should be terrified. But with you at our side, I can't help feeling everything is going to be all right. So please, don't you dare leave me alone.
I won't.
No matter what happens, we have to survive together.
Yes, ma'am. God, Alisaie is such a great character. Oh, I miss playing Final Fantasy so much during COVID. Oh, I'm so glad I'm back to playing it. The Gimmilt Dark. All right. This will be the last thing of the stream. Who wants to join the dungeon? Who wants a piece? Oh. I think that answers my question. Anyone else? Salute to you, Kane. Doesn't have to be someone of my friends list either. We got a bunch of people in chat. Anyone on Aether is welcome to join. Yep. All right. Kane, you want to cue us up? Party leader. Cries and light. Oh, sorry, man. Maybe they'll do cross-server travel eventually. We're diving headfirst into the battlefield, straight into the damn trenches. We are. Oh, I'm excited. And hey, while we're waiting, I can play my idle game. I can't believe you guys did this to me. I realize I haven't done any of the advanced training yet. Oh, they reset with Rebirth? Ooh, we got a Gunbreaker Glamour? Hell yeah. You almost FC Crab Rave in Beat Saber? Oh, you missed a single note? No. Oh, Crab Rave is probably the best name to a song I've ever heard. That's pretty fantastic. Oh. This is wild, though. My duties as field commander demand I remain here at my post, but I have no doubt the front lines are in capable hands. How do you know, Raubon? I could be absolutely useless. You have no idea. Oh. I have not heard Crab Rave. Is it good? My experience with Beat Saber was just the basic songs that came with it. It's very good. Ooh. All right, very good. Oh, so I can show off some of the songs my wife commissioned for me. She got me 5 different lo-fi songs, which you guys will have heard in my most recent videos. I've been using a couple of them as an intro and outro. We know if it was too loud. Oh, never mind. I was like, oh, we'll play this cool song while we're waiting. Meanwhile, it pops instantly. Not going to interrupt the Final Fantasy soundtrack. Whoa. This is fucking wild. Oh, your jacket's so cool. I love it. Wait for the cameras. You're like my spokesperson. My hype guy.
Forward!
Yo, paratroopers. Oh, actually fighting with Ken and Lise and Yugiri? Oh, that's awesome. When you said into the trenches, I didn't know you meant literally into the trenches. This is crazy. Hey, whoa, whoa, whoa! Don't shoot your dumb stuff at me. This is the first thing I've actually done gameplay-wise this stream. Everything else has just been movies. Spread out and beware of artillery fire. Keep to the north. Light off the troops to the south. Oh, bye, guys. I was excited to play the dungeon with you, but you're leaving instantly. Oh god, we're fighting dogs. Alright, remember, it's a cone. It's not AoE, it's a cone. You got this. Ever since I learned that it fires in a cone and not as like an AoE around you, my life has been a lie. Oh, you were stuck for 28 minutes? No, Iron! If you had said something, I would have waited! Oh no! I'm sorry, dude. Oh, hi! I forgot that mechanics existed in the game. What is? Hello? Oh, that's from the direction he's spinning to do his slappies. I disagree that I was in that last one. He's being so mean to me. What did I do to him? Before we wipe again? Oh no. I'm sorry, man. Well, there'll be plenty more dungeons and raids for us to do together. I have to stand still and cast things. Come on. It's actually a somewhat decent boss. I like the new mechanic in the like showing the spiral around him for where to go. It's really neat that Final Fantasy doesn't rest on its laurels with just doing the same kind of mechanics, and that they continuously make new patterns and styles of Like reticles, like targeting reticles. Even like one of the last dungeons I did, they had the one that showed it would hit and then explode outward. Very cool. Very, very cool. Wasn't it at least fun to play though, Iron? I don't really know what the trials are like in Endwalker, so I'm assuming they're top tier. If they're anything less, that'd be wild, considering how good Final Fantasy is just in general. Really do just be jumping into a battlefield, huh? Police! Ben! Like my brain wants to be like, ooh, this is gonna be a cool thing, like drops out in the middle of here, but I know we have to like keep running and keep fighting. I just want there to be like a big robot that just falls down. Oh hey, speaking of big robot, it's the one from Final Fantasy VII. Yes, that's definitely what I love about it too, Iron. Like, making the skill floor higher instead of just relying on bigger numbers equals harder thing. That's what's so cool about Final Fantasy. Because that's like what a lot of games do, is like their hard mode is just, haha, enemy hit more and have more health. Oh, hello, robot. Oh, hello, robot. Prometheus? I'm assuming it's gonna have some fire mechanics. Nitro Spin! Okay. Interesting. Go close when Nitro Spin happens. Oh, it's digging. It's... What? Oh, the terrain actually changes! Holy shit! I went into like Shaggy mode there. Like Soinks, the terrain changed, Scoob! Oh my god. Hey Dark, how you doing, dude? And the mustache is kind of grown back from the stream. Kind of being the key word. How's your day going, dude? Okay, close to it for the Nitro Spin. There we go. I'm smart, I learn things. I think thoughts, and I thought that I thought them. Oh, this is your first ever dungeon tanking? Holy shit, Iron! Pretty good, Shaggy. Thank you, I appreciate it. I am pretty proud of my Shaggy impression. Rocky with Skyrim, oh my gosh, dude. Is this your first time playing? I'm assuming not. Every once in a while, my body yearns for another Skyrim playthrough. How about me? I'm doing pretty great. We're actually very close to the end of this expansion. This is the last trial. Not trial. Whatever these ones are called. Not instance either. I'll eventually remember the terms that are different from World of Warcraft.
You underestimate me.
You're making Kane Senna? What? That's a weird matchup. I was not expecting that. And what were you studying for, by the way? It's been so long since I've been in school that the word studying feels like a swear word. I will definitely never go back to school. $3,000 hours. Damn, dude. That's some dedication. I'm a WoW player. I used to play WoW. I played WoW for around 13 years. And I stopped about halfway through Shadowbringers. I started playing this in November, and it has become my favorite game. It's so freaking good. Like, if you play World of Warcraft, you like MMOs, this is just World of Warcraft, but better in every way. I would highly recommend it. Oh, Jesus, hi! You can't just bust out of the wall like that. You're gonna spook me. Also, you're very weak for someone who spooked me so bad. I feel even more dumb that I got spooked. Oh my god, you're doing nursing studying? Oh, that's incredible. More power to you. I could never. Not only never do that amount of studying required, but also handle the job. I mean, I work with getting benefits for children and families, like food stamps and stuff like that, and that's hard enough for me, let alone dealing with like death. Wow. That's incredibly impressive. I just want to hit you. There's another one. You can't just keep throwing more Colossus at me. Unbreakable Serpent Blade. Oh, hey, Kane Senna, thank you for the shield. This is really cool getting to fight with everyone. Oh. This one for you, but is she using the freaking limit break again? Lise is so limit break greedy. It's like her third time using a limit break in this game. Yes, definitely, Dark. It's hard to remember much of that night. A lot of crazy shit happened on top of being inebriated. I don't remember what stories I told the chat. Necromancer was always late to heal. These savages bested our vanguard. Impressive. But in the end, they're only that. Savages. Now, let us be brief. Something that they said that I didn't get time enough to read. Those were the personal guards of the Emperor, right? Yeah, there's tons of classes in the game. Right now I'm playing a red mage, which is a mix of like white and black magic. Has a lot of mobility and instant cast on his bar. So I'm basically constantly weaving spells through cooldowns. And I mix in melee combos as well that empower my spells. There's like a gunbreaker class that's like a gun sword that tanks. There's, oh god, so many. There's bards that use music for fighting. There's monks that do punch-in, just like WoW, just like in WoW. Machinists that use guns for weapons. Dancers and... Oh, I see your stupid X attacks. Also, make sure not to overlap with other people. Dark Knight is very cool. It's kind of like Death Knight, but less undead. Don't know what that means on me. I'm leaving. Oh, it didn't. It was just a little bit of death. All right, one down. Impressive. Anya, let us engage them together. They can't hope to evade us both. Here. What? I disagree! Oh, they high-fived! How cute! Anya, fall back. Definitely, yeah, that's the best part, is that all jobs can be played on one character. That is a good point. The lady, welcome to the chat, by the way. How are you doing? Is there anything I can do with them? No. I was thinking maybe we... Oh! Explosions! That was a mechanic I hadn't seen before, and I'm dead. I have more time to talk to chat now while waiting for a res. The most are farther than they look. Yeah. Oh, the healer died. Oh, good luck, guys. But how you doing? How'd you find the stream? And pronouns. I always like to make sure. Name is Milady, so I really can't tell. The fact that you guys are still alive is awesome. Oh, you found me through YouTube? Welcome. I've been trying quite hard to make sure to upload once daily. You guys got this. Dodge the bombs like I couldn't. Hopefully there isn't, like, another phase. Since we have no choice, Julia. You should feel honored, savages. Few are they who have witnessed this twice. Oh. I think you're probably dead, Kane. Yeah. And fewer still who have witnessed this. Farewell, savages. Oh, limit break. That was a lot of damage. I don't think it's enough to kill him before, you know, the Imperial Authority goes off, but freaking do it! Do it, Barrett! Oh, really? That's awesome! I tried to get my wife into playing it, Milady, but she couldn't break her addiction to World of Warcraft. She played it for a bit, got through A Realm Reborn, and then, well, and then she decided that she couldn't have any other MMO in her life, and she also couldn't have World of Warcraft 2%? No! Oh, that was so cool. You almost carried it. All right, I'll make sure not to die this time. I have at least somewhat of an idea of what I'm doing. But it's also you get to play with your like whole family. I used to believe that for World of Warcraft, where everyone played together. So close. I know, right? They almost carried me. I played Frost Mage with Blood Elf. I was usually Alliance, but we switched over to Horde. Or no, brain farted. I played Frost Mage on a Night Elf. We were Horde, but we switched over to Alliance. My whole brain just got discombobulated there. So that was my favorite. I actually started, when I started playing this, I played Black Mage because it was closest to like a mage in World of Warcraft. And well, now I swapped over to Red Mage because it's just more fun. 2% health depression. True. Yeah, Final Fantasy is just so much better than World of Warcraft. Like, it hurts because I played it for so long. I played World of Warcraft for 13 years, and it hurts to say it, but it really is just, this is just a better game in all respects. That just means, you know, a lot of my early childhood was a lot of money that I shouldn't have spent. Warcraft is very expensive to play. All right, let's try to not die this time, huh? And I'm directing that 100% at me, by the way. I'm not talking to anyone else in the party. Dying's a me problem. Front pages are pretty great. They're a lot of fun to play. Their rhythm just felt very good. Oh, if you like lore in fantasy, you will be incredibly pleased by playing Final Fantasy. This game is lore. This is probably one of the best stories I've ever experienced. And I'm a story guy. I'm an English major, goddammit. I've read a lot of goddamn stories, and this is one of the best I've ever experienced. And the best part is the lore is actually, you know, consistent. They don't keep changing it over and over again. And the lore actually integrates into the story rather than just being stuff in the past. Alright, you're targeting the one over there, so I'm going to want to cycle over to that side. Ow. I tried. I do have 2 expansions. That's wild part. Everyone keeps telling me that the expansions just keep getting better. I'm so close to Shadowbringers. My stream has been hyping me up so much about it. Oh my god, yeah, Dark. They kept rewriting the story over and over and over again in World of Warcraft. And changing lore and making these weird decisions. And it was very... Oh god, don't stand near me. Don't stand near me. I just need to make sure I'm paying attention. Oh, hey, we're all alive at the part that you guys managed to push to 2% at. Yeah, for example, Dark, there's stuff that's mentioned in the first ever, like, part of the game that makes its appearance back again in the final expansion, I've been told. That, like, these things are just little pieces of thread that are woven together over time to make a comprehensive story. It's fantastic. We have served our purpose. Come, we shall withdraw for now. See what happens when I don't die to a random mechanic? And also the healer didn't die, which is nice. Do, 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 do. Oh, make sure to player commentate. Oh, it's cool. They're throwing like a confetti thing. That's really cute. The meticulous is an understatement. It's wild dark.
There you are, and none the worse for wear.
Hi, Alice.
Indeed. I had hoped we might do more to help, but there seems to be no one left to fight.
Okay. Okay. Like, this is the part of every story was like, wow, we won, and there's nothing else for us to do, and then something ridiculous and horrible happens. Who has their bet on ridiculous and horrible? Me. I do.
A tactical withdrawal, perhaps?
At the comms? Sweet. I don't know why. I didn't do
We
much.
should give chase. Finish them off while we have the chance. Imagine the other surprise when they wake to find the war already won.
I don't think this little skirmish would be the war. Hey, Brain Blast! How to get our souls sucked out of our body?
Expunge all life. Only you can forestall the calamity. Throw wide the gates.
No! No! No!
No. 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 No! No! Come on!
Oh no.
Oh.
Don't tell me.
They took away Alice from me. They took her away from me.
Are you all right?
Just throw away the gates and all we will. Oh, thanks. I'll throw wide the gates. Which ones? Which cryptic gate? Since something bad will happen, I won the bet, I guess. I didn't really want to win the bet, but something... Oh my god.
Quickly, we must get her back to the encampment.
Well, now it's only, like, Cryo left? Is she the only Scion besides me remaining? I guess we don't know about Tataru either. I imagine she was probably left alone. You know, that's a good point, Dolphin. It really isn't that hard. I should just do it. So the Gallians have been routed, have they? Well done. Though this exchange was no more than a test of our strength, like as not. They won't be taking any chances now that the Emperor has joined the fray. They'll want to take their time, whittle down our defenses. Still, with your help, and now our eastern allies, we passed the first test. Our line is unbroken. As for Alice, well, she's in good hands over at the infirmary. My lord, the cryogens have completed their examination of Mistress Alice. It's as we feared. She is locked in a slumber without any outward cause. Ooh, are you planning on getting it, Dolphin? I might get a tattoo based on Final Fantasy. I only have one tattoo right now, which I'd have to take off my shirt to show you guys, so I can't really do that. But I've been thinking about getting another tattoo. Just like the others. Damn it all. Aye, the Garleans picked a fine time to come a knocking. 5 Scions incapacitated, And with the enemy on our doorstep, I cannot spare the men to assist and search for a clue. The best I can do is see to it the Alexei is escorted back to the Rising Stones. You, Giddy, and I will return to our encampment. The main contingent of our forces from the Far East is under sail, and all must be made ready for their arrival. I'll not keep you then. Judging by the Garlean's recent movements, or lack thereof, they won't be launching another offensive in the immediate future. You should return to the Rising Stones. Give them the plight of your fellow Scions. I can understand you feel on edge, but you'd be no good to anyone without rest. Alright, and sadly, guys, that's where we have to call it for the night. You got me for 3 extra minutes past my extreme end time, so you feel lucky. Gosh darn it. Maybe someday the original tattoo I wanted was the Trinity of Jobs. Oh. That's actually a pretty cool idea, Dolphin. So I'm gonna go for a little pitch here. Anyone who's not subscribed to me, there is Amazon Prime, which if you have a Prime subscription, you can subscribe for free to people. And I know everyone always barks up this tree, but all you have to do is go into the sub area, scroll down to the bottom, and if it says you have a free sub, you send it my way. If not, that's totally fine. But a little bit of support goes a long way. Other than that, I'm going to go find someone to raid. See if anyone I usually follow is streaming right now. Looks like... Yep, Arthmelia is streaming. She's doing Savage Pandemonium right now. So we're going to go raid her. Tomorrow we're hitting Shepherd? Yes. Tomorrow I'm streaming. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday I'm going up to visit family for Memorial Day weekend. I'll be back on Monday. I'll do a particularly long stream that day to make up for lost time. But we will be doing stream tomorrow, and we should be getting into Shadowbringers. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I'm going to go start a raid over to Arthmelia. All right. Hope you guys had a wonderful day. I hope you enjoyed the stream, and I love you all bunches. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. Bye.